After rallying behind Cal Raleigh and his torpedo bat this weekend, the Mariners are back even. Welcome to the Dom Skiing Channel, your one-stop shop for the Mariners storylines on Seattle's minds. The Mariners swept the Rangers on Sunday with a 3-1 win, and at 8-8, they sit just 1.5 games back of the division lead and one off the Rangers. The 4-game win streak isn't lucky either. We've been out-hitting opponents and haven't needed to rely on luck to win close games. Logan had another sterling outing, and it's safe to say the Cy Young campaign is well underway, as Logan sits with a 2.38 ERA now, despite going just 5 innings on Sunday. He grabbed 7 strikeouts, allowing just 3 hits and 1 walk, with the only damage coming on a homer from Dustin Harris in the second. He induced 17 swinging strikes on 94 pitches, which is an absolutely insane number there, as 20% on a swinging strike rate, when anything over 10 is a pretty good number, proving that he's one of the absolute elite swing and miss starting pitchers in the major leagues right now. He also has a plethora of pitches, all working really well early on, getting 5 whiffs on the 4-seamer, 8 on the slider, 3 on the splitter, and 1 on the curveball, also using a sinker. The 4-seamer is the only one getting hit extremely hard, as it has in the past, with mid-90s average exit velocities, but he has the option to go for a sinker against more punishing lineups and induce weak contact, which can also help his pitch count. And although we haven't seen him do that a ton early this year, I think as he pushes for quality starts later on, we could see him using that sinker against some of the tougher lineups more. Evaldi was pretty good on the other end as well, getting 11 whiffs on 89 pitches, but got hit hard 10 times, including some early damage on a splitter, giving up the single and the homer in the first inning to Polanco and Raleigh, both on the splitter. Overall, the Mariners posted a 299 XBA, while the Rangers posted just a 179. And although we won only by 2 runs, we never trailed, took control of the game for all 9 innings. We won both on starting pitching and on hitting. Another thing I want to talk about is that this weekend, it was mentioned in the media that Brant Brown last year would be showing heat maps. He would be showing all sorts of data to hitters, trying to get them to utilize all his data, process it in their plate approach. Now, with Dan and Edgar, the philosophy is get a good pitch and don't miss. This, to me, is more beneficial for the control of the zone approach, as the players can't process all of that information up there at the plate. You've got to simplify it for them up there at the plate. Now, we can strategize, before, during, and after the game about how we're going to attack the next at-bat, which pitches we want to swing at. But I think it's great that Edgar just knows the human element so well. He knows what a hitter has to do. His whole craft is based on understanding hitting and being really a knowledgeable expert in the subject. And we're seeing it show out here with a little bit less data and a little more confidence. Going into today's game, we're facing Nick Lodolo, who for Cincinnati has great surface stats right now. He also is doing an elite job keeping guys off bases with just a 265 expected WOBA against, just a 234 expected batting average against, and he's barely walking anybody. He's not striking out a ton of guys, however. And that average exit velocity, although at 89.8 right now, I think we could see it rise. He doesn't have a nasty fastball or a nasty breaking ball right now, but he has some of the best off speed in the league. The changeup and curveball as a prospect were always what people said were he was going to have one of the best curves and maybe one of the best changeups in the majors. And so far, we see that to be the case. But from what I'm seeing, it looks like that 4-seamer, you can crush it if you get it. He throws that just a little more than the sinker and the changeup and the curve, but you get these 4 pitches, and you really never know which mix of them you're going to get, because he all kind of in the 29% usage of the 4-seamer, 26% on the sinker, 24% on the change, 22% on the curve. So he's going to mix it up based on what he wants to throw us today. Now, I think part of our get a good pitch and don't miss is that when you see that four-seamer, you crush this. We're in Great American Ballpark. The ball flies. So I don't see this working the whole year, although I do have Lodolo in some of my fantasy teams. I'm not super bullish on him keeping it up the whole rest of the way. But there's a good chance that he's a high twos ERA guy just by keeping guys, limiting that hard contact. He's not going to walk anybody, put any on base, limits the mistakes. He's going to have a lot of quality starts where he gets less than a strikeout in any. Moving over to Luis Castillo, one of the bigger storylines that fans will notice is that he's making his return to Great American Ballpark. And although his expected stats are not great this year, you see a lot of blue on that Baseball Savant page. He's given up a decent, 89 is his average exit velocity, he's given up a little bit more hard contact than we're used to seeing. I mean, that's right there in line with Nick Lodolo. Which Lodolo, you're pleasantly surprised, but Castillo, obviously you think is going to be better than that usually, with how deceptive his stuff is supposed to play. He's getting hit pretty hard, 41.7%. Although quality of contact stats are one of the hardest things to look at, especially early in the season. It's not that useful to look at this hard hit percentage. See that Castillo's is blue and Lodolo's is red. Typically that means that Lodolo is doing better than Castillo in that category. However, quality of contact takes several seasons to normalize, so I don't want to put too much stock into that. What I do want to put stock into is that Luis is walking more guys. And although his strikeout rate is nearly double Lodolo's, Castillo needs to be a big-time strikeout guy, because we've seen when he was back in Great American Ballpark, when he was one of the worst starters in the majors, all of a sudden with the Reds, it happened once or twice, it was because that changeup was getting crushed. He didn't have that. They became a three-pitch pitcher, four-seam sinker slider. He becomes this sinker slider tinker guy, and it becomes a big mess with Castillo essentially, where he's really not deceiving guys. He's scared to really attack hitters, and he's getting crushed. So I don't want to see him fall into any of those, fall back into any of those habits. Right now, one thing we're seeing that's worrying is just he's getting hit really hard. So for Castillo, I'm going to want to see him. I'm just going to want to see him kind of live on the edges. I don't want to throw any meatballs today. Live on the edge of the plate. Don't give anything to the hitters in this lineup that we know can punish. And put the pressure back on them. Force them to have good contact and try to hit your stuff that should be deceptive. With our lineup, we're seeing a lot more red on our baseball reference page. Just looking at today's lineup, Demo leading off. We're going to keep seeing how this goes. I think with a guy like Lodolo, doesn't have a lot of swing and miss. Dylan Moore's a guy who can get into those 8-pitch at-bats and then homer. Obviously high average exit velocities for Dylan Moore. A guy who's going to, who has that pop in a ballpark where it'll play. Julio, his baseball savant page is starting to really heat up. Again, for a hitter, the hard hit stats, his are great, but it takes a little bit longer to normalize. We know Julio's going to hit the ball hard, though, as he always has through years. Same with Cal, hitting the ball extremely hard. I want to keep seeing this ex-Woba get red for our entire lineup. Randy, I want to give a big shout out to Randy because although he's expected batting average 240, I think he might still be hitting under the Mendoza line. But he's such a good 3-outcome hitter right now. He walks a ton. He knows it's just as good of a single, so he's not taking those contact swings. He's one of the guys who I wouldn't want to take those contact swings. He walks a ton, gets on base, steals bases, so he gets to second base too. And then when he does swing, he's unleashing, and his power is looking really good this year too. I think he could push for 35 homers. That he has the best walk rate of anybody on the team not named J.P. Crawford. So although JP's hitting stats really all look bad, his xWOB is pretty good, and his walk percentage is elite at 22.4%. So JP, if he walks the most in the league, I can live with whatever else he's doing offensively. And then, I want to see the xWOBA continue to be good. Demo, Julio, Cal, and Randy all have great xWOBAs, and they're all near the top of the lineup. As does Mitch Garver, who could also be a good 3-outcome hitter for us. So With our guys today, Randy Garver, I want to see good three outcome play, work some walks. Maybe one of those guys hits a homer. Demo, work some long at bats, hit the ball, really put the ball in play. Julio, I see more measured plate approach, and this is a place where you don't need to do a super power hack, but you swing the bat naturally, and eventually it'll go out at a place like Great American for sure. Cal from the left side is really, really heating up with that torpedo bat. And same thing with Polanco, who's not in the lineup today, but could be pinch hitting. For today, I'm going to go score prediction. I'm going to go 9-2 torpedo bats in Great American. We saw what it could do early on against Texas, where Ellie had that torpedo bat outburst. So I'm going to say that we win. I'm going to go 9-2. I'm going to say Luis Castillo grabs 5 strikeouts, but still gets a quality start. And I'm going to say that living on the edges. And I'm going to say that Mitch Garver hits a bomb. I think he's going to get deep into the count and hit one today. With that being said, excited for the series against the Reds, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Go Whams.